Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 Build a Nation story from Bangor City with me, Daniel. We're back today for season 13 for part 116 and I am very, very excited. No, we've not had the biggest ever transfer special so far. In fact, it's been quite a difficult and disappointing summer so far. Challenging, probably the right word. But something big has happened in Welsh football. A moment that we've been waiting for, and I can't wait to show you because I think it means that the elevation of this league is about to get a lot quicker, both for us and for a few of the other teams. We're also going to have a look today at some of the things that you guys have asked for, so our win percentage, the icons and legends, and a couple of those updates, as well as the second leg away in the Champions League qualifiers against Maribor. We won the home leg comfortably, but we gave them an away goal, and it's almost over, but not quite. We've had a really difficult Champions League draw this year, and it will continue if we win this game. So if you're looking forward to finding out who we're facing and how we're getting on this summer, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. I think you can tell my excitement, and I think it's going to be a couple of big years ahead. If you want to find out why, subscribe down below and stay up to date to see our nation progress. We've got daily FM21 videos from 2 long-term stories and plenty to look forward to here in the next few years. So let's start by having a look at the things you guys have asked for before we go and get on to what's happened this summer. Because the first thing you guys have asked me to look at is the club icons and legends. Now it's something we haven't looked at for a while, and I guess last summer we had our first big turnover of a generation that contributed so much to this club. And you guys like me are probably curious to find out how many of them are in here. So let's go and look and see how many are, shall we? If we go to the general club information, there are no legends apart from us. Duffy and Dean are both icons. Now that's no surprise here because Duffy and Dean are the goal scorers, and they have been the top 2 league goal scorers over the history of this club. Now the reason that I get a little bit disappointed by this screen and don't look as often as I should normally is because I do worry a little bit about the fact that it's only ever attacking players that seem to get on here. My heart is warmed a little bit when I look in the favoured personnel, because Loza and Walters are fairly recent additions, so I don't understand them quite so much. But Wickens, Badebo, John Price, which is the weirdest one to me, and Kai McDonald, all involved as defensive players. We've also got Ben Cottrell, Greg Pringle, of course we would expect him, and Tom Jones, only about 20 years of age now, 21 he's just turned, has already made it onto the favoured personnel list, but he's one of their own, and I'm sure Bulkley won't be far behind. So that's a really good sign. The club reputation up to 2.5 star and everything looking really rosy at the moment. If I go and have a look at Greg Pringle quickly just to see how he's getting on. Had a good season at Rafe. They're now paying £82,000 a week in wages. Rafe Rovers, that is. £82,000. Do you want to tell me Scottish football hasn't changed in this save? For the last 2 years, they've been third. I mean, I hope that's behind the old firm because otherwise we could have shockwaves here. I'm guessing it is because, look, Rafe are second favourites to win it above Celtic. They're rich if they had a tycoon, if they had something spectacular. Rafe Rovers are a powerhouse in Scottish football. They are splitting the old firm. That's incredible. So Greg Pringle now remarkably at Rafe at the second best team in Scotland. I'm not quite sure how we explain that, but there is the legends, icons and personnel screen. If we go and have a look at our profile very quickly, because a few of you have asked for what our win percentage is now. Now Europe does bring it down slightly and does level it out a little bit, but where we've started to get results in there recently, it has gone up yet further. Our win percentage across our career is now 78%, and that includes 3, 4, 5 losses every year in the Champions League. But we're not losing domestic games. I think we've had 3 invincible seasons. We only drew 1 game last year. The win percentage is high. And there you can see our latest milestone at the bottom. Career milestone guided Bangor City to an unbeaten season in the Welsh Premiership. Managers with a high opinion of us includes Pep Guardiola, Gennaro Gattuso, and a lot of ones from Wales as well. And there's not many that don't like us, and there's certainly no big names that don't. So I've got to be so proud of how we're getting on here. We've got a 3.5 star reputation. We're now earning over £6,000 a week with 2 more years remaining on our deal. And our attributes are popping up quite nicely as well. Just goalkeeping and adaptability because we've never changed clubs. But of course, for all the positives on the pitch and for all the things that have happened, there is one thing in terms of a Build a Nation that becomes very exciting to me. And that is when your players become valuable assets. Now, one of the things that's frustrated me throughout this save is when you guys have said that I'm not spending any money and why am I holding on to it? And I've tried to say to you that I'm not actually, despite having hundreds of thousands on the wage bill, I'm not really being unleashed to spend multiple thousands a week on wages. I'm being limited at 4 or 5k for most players. But this summer, that has changed, and with it comes something else. Look at the value of our permanent players. Just overnight at the end of the season, the Welsh Premier League increased reputation a bit more, our coefficient in Europe increased a bit more, and all of our players overnight went from being worth 10 to 20,000 to now worth £500,000 or so. That shows that we've taken a big step. We're starting to look like maybe a Scottish Championship club or an English League One club, and that means that any players we sell, we're going to get good value for. So Joe Duffy, who wants to leave this summer to get a new challenge, last year for Max Dean, we were getting offers of 9 grand. For Joe Duffy, we're getting offers of 150, 200,000. It's a massive difference, and we've got to take advantage of it. I will introduce you to any of the new faces you don't recognise on here in a minute. But just to prove my point regarding values and the Welsh Premier League, the players at TNS and all of the other Welsh clubs were worth, what, a few £100 before? And now, if we go and have a look at them, they're worth 15, 20, 25,000. One of them at TNS worth 185 grand. Like Stefan Banks, who they've just signed on a free from us, 15,000. The youngster who we've loaned out to them, 20,000. So even those teams now, when they're selling players to English clubs, they'll get 20, 25, 30 grand instead of 500 quid. And that's going to add up as well. Barrytown United are exactly the same. They've got players worth 20 and 30 grand. Josh Thomas, our former man, worth 27.5. They've signed Eli King in the summer, who's a brilliant player. He's worth £60,000 and he's really talented. I'm so excited because this is the thing that will change the nation and not just the club. If we go and have a look at our transfer window, it has been really disappointing so far, but it's not deterred me after the summer we've had. We've not been able to spend the money because that changed to the wage structure and that came about a week before when the summer turned over. So what happened then, we'd already lost out on Scott Furlong, we'd already lost out on a couple of other big midfield targets who are going to be worth 4, 5, 6 grand. And we are currently still looking for a replacement for Scott Furlong. We're still looking for a potential replacement for Joe Duffy when he leaves. However, we have managed to bring 2 players in. David Robson is a new backup goalkeeper to replace George Ratcliffe. He was released at the end of his contract. In fact, there were a couple of players this year for the first time released. Max Dean, after his loan spell. I hope he's got a club now. He hasn't, but he's wanted. Who wants him? Wrexham. That'd be an interesting move. Sean Rickards, Harry Morgan, all had spells on loan in a top tier. And all of them so far got clubs, apart from the 2 English boys and George Ratcliffe, the keeper. In terms of the ones that came in, though, David Robson is the goalkeeping replacement. Bit more of a wage, but a former Welsh under-21 international. Got 2-star ability, is 30 years old, and has loads of experience playing for Hull, for Bradford, for Shamrock. And he's really good. He's a big upgrade on Ratcliffe, who dropped to just under 1.5 star. And he'll surely play a few of the league games this year pretty competently. So I'm happy with David Robson coming in. He's been joined today, in fact, by Darren Kopp. He's a free agent centre midfielder. Gives us a backup in centre mid and in the holding role too. 2-star ability, 2.5 potential. Now I actually think he's a bit better than he looks. He's just not got the technical attributes. But he's versatile, which will help us in our league games and where we need to rotate an 11. He's got loads of experience under his belt for Port Vale and a few games for Swansea too. He's brilliant mentally. He's good physically, got great stamina and fitness. We've just got to use him as a ball-winning midfielder rather than as that sort of centre mid who's going to be flamboyant and moving around on the ball. But in terms of us, he's joined as an emergency backup. And I see players like this as important moving forward, like Justin Burrows last year. Just having 3 or 4 players who are happy to come in, not play football, but be part of the squad for 3, 4, 500 quid a week. And he's another one of those. He's a Welshman too. We've got to be pleased. Loads of players leave the club as well. We talked about Stefan Banks. He's gone on a permanent deal. He's at TNS now, earning 230 quid a week. Kian Burgess has gone back on loan to TNS. Stefan Orlik has gone on loan to Barry. That's one that stands out a bit as well. Sakis Papadopoulos joins him there. We've got Harvey Smith, Brinlock and Owen McMinamy, as well as Owen Davis-Jones going to 4 other Welsh clubs. So we are trying to build the strength of some of the other teams as well. And to be fair to them, they're signing a lot of our release players. So that's something we've got to be incredibly supportive of too. If they can keep doing that and keep building their squad with our sort of second tier youngsters, I think we're going to start to make progress pretty quickly. The point in case is that most of us have had pretty dire European draws this season. So for us in the first round, we drew a 3-star Romanian side, which was always going to be difficult. Thankfully, we managed to win the first leg 5-0, McKinnon's hat-trick, Walters and Jones with one each. And then in a reverse fixture, a 2-1 win at home, Whittaker and Loza with those goals. After Radu had got an early goal for them, 17 years of age, and he's got a bit of talent to be fair to him. So something to look forward to in the future for them, because they've got good footballers. We won 4-1 at home to Maribor in the first leg of this tie, 2 apiece for Walters and McKinnon. And Darko Marinsek scored their goal. Not the best youngster in the world. And actually, Maribor arguably had the weaker players than the first round tie, which was a little bit bizarre. But they are still in it, they got their away goal, and anything can happen in the Champions League. If we win it, we've got a really tough tie again. Let me go and show you what it means. In the third round of the Champions Path, if we get through, we will be facing Rosenborg or PAOK. Both of those sides very capable of putting us out if we're not at our best. So we'll get into that one in a minute. Let me very quickly show you how the other clubs are getting on. They have been signing big in a transfer window in terms of getting lots of bodies in and a lot earlier. And in the Europa Conference qualifiers, TNS are flying the flag yet again. They won 2-1 against a tough opponent in Hungarian side Debrecen. A 2.5-star reputation side, we know they've got plenty of quality. But TNS, at the halfway stage, are ahead of the game so far. Barrytown United did lose on the road, but they weren't too bad in their defeat. Let me just go and find them along here. There we go, a 3-1 defeat to Nordsjælland of Denmark. They got the away goal, they're still just about in it. The key player against them actually not that good. So I'm hoping in the second leg they might be able to kick up a fuss and maybe get a famous home win. Coimbatore, they snuck through in the playoff this year and they drew Austria Vienna. They had absolutely no hope. Their key player, a very different proposition. And a left back, I wouldn't have minded signing if he wasn't earning too much money. So we can't blame Coimbatore for that. But the other two sides in with a chance. And TNS, fingers crossed this year they can make it through the qualifiers. If we have a look at the Welsh transfer window so far, lots of players coming into clubs. TNS got so much work done early. Even whether it was backups or first teamers. They got the 2 boys from us. They brought one in from Bala as a youngster. They got Tinkler, an Englishman at 25, who's definitely going to be involved for them up front. They brought in a new backup right back, and they also got in a young player as well, Robin Foyle, a centre midfielder, who's very solid. Barrytown United done much the same. They've brought in 3 or 4. I showed you Eli King. They've got Stefan Orlik from us, really good footballers. Warren Bell looked like he's going to TNS now as well. They've just made an offer for him. So I really think this is going to be a big season. I'm hoping that Welsh football is going to stand up and say this is the year we go big. Even the likes of Coimbatore improving the squad, bringing in more strength in depth, bringing in players from the English leagues. Look at Neil Russell they've got on loan there from Wrexham. Going to be a top quality player. Look at Aaron Williams they've brought in on a free. A much better standard than they used to. My fingers are crossed for this year. I think it could be a big one. Let's go and have a look though at our lineup for today and make sure we don't drop out of the Champions League. Again, I know it's not ideal after last season being in the group stages, but if we get through this match and into the third qualifying round, we are guaranteed group stage football in Europe, and that's something we have to keep achieving every single season. We're going to recommend changes to the team. We rested a few in the last match, and we're going to do the same again here. So Morgan at right back will be replaced by Kai McDonald. Morgan may well go on the bench for this one. He's got 3-star ability now. He actually stands out. So we're going to go for him and Pasiarek. In terms of midfield, I'm tempted to bring Bulkley in. Now rated 3-star. Now we would be coming into a team that's all but through. So we should be looking at it really. And you know what? I'm going to do it. Malone out, Bulkley in. He'll play alongside Broom. In midfield, the rest of the team picks itself. I don't think there's much else I want to worry about. That is our lineup and squad for today. It is George Wickens in goal. Weaver and McDonald the fullbacks with Mackenzie and Whittaker at centre-half. In midfield, it's Lloyd, Broom, Bulkley and Jones with Walters and McKinnon up front. And actually, McDonald has had a knock in between the 2 games, so Morgan will start for him. We're going as young as possible. I'm going to chuck Loza up front as well. Let's make a couple more changes. Scratch the lineup I've just given you. Morgan and Loza in. McKinnon and McDonald out. Let's go big. Those 2 extended their loans. We're very happy with them. Now let's see if we can get through to the third qualifier. Now Marinsek scored in the first leg. They have got some decent players, but not quite as strong as what we played in the first qualifier, and that's actually a good thing for us. You also saw in the friendlies list, we got a win against Crystal Palace, a championship side in England. We looked pretty convincing in doing so. So I'm hoping that we're on the right path to getting a real good side together that can maybe compete in the top tables of Europe, as Loza gets the ball back. I mean, a certain improvement is the fact that the values, the increased reputation is going to help this club. In the next episode, we'll look a bit more at the coefficient, what's happened to the country in terms of places in Europe, where we list in the club coefficient rankings, and how many teams are going to qualify for what competition moving forward, and just how far away we are from taking the next step. As Morgan gets down the right hand side, just 5 minutes in, an away goal would really settle the nerves here, and Coyote Bulkley almost delivers it. Wonderful save down to his right from the keeper. It's a really good strike from Bulkley, and he's now on corner duty as well. In-swinger to the front post, Collard heads away. Whittaker will try and get there first, but he can't keep the danger alive, and as a result, after 15 minutes here away in Slovenia, it remains 0-0. Maribor, they're trying to push forward, but we're on top, and the referee has randomly given us a penalty. Loza is the best taker at the club. I'm going to let him have it. And if he scores this, it's tie over, because Maribor will need 4 just to get to extra time. Loza up against the keeper, doesn't even move a muscle. Hit with power, hit with precision, and Kresimir Loza into the team. Second goal of the season. Maribor 0, Bangor City 1. My word, we look good. And we're even giving youngsters football today as well, as Morgan throws in from the right to Broom. Plays a 1-2 with Loza. Got a chance to cross it here, the fullback. Instead goes back to Broom yet again. Now, since Furlong's left in the stomach, Broom has really stepped up. He's starting to look a star again. He takes on his man here, cuts it back to Morgan. 3 in the middle, at the back post is Loza. Oh, he's missed a great chance. That was an opportunity and a half for Kresimir Loza, and he somehow managed to put it over the bar. It remains 1-0 with half an hour gone. I mean, I think it's fair to say there is no chance Maribor are getting 4 in this match. They've largely played to contain us. It hasn't always worked. And I think as half-time approaches, we're probably unfortunate it's only 1. It's been a really good performance. It's been a really good season so far. And even though we've got that frustration in the summer transfer window, I'm starting to look at it now, as a few of you guys have in the comments, where we've got this one transition season as Welsh football grows. Is it actually a harm if Bulkley and Jones end up starting most games? Because I'm not sure it is. Is it a harm that Morgan will be our first choice backup defender and Pasiarek? I'm not sure it is. Let's just make the most of these youngsters coming through. Having said that, I am going to give Jones a rest, because I want him to break the league appearance record, and we need to keep him fit as a result. So on in his place will be Patrick Malone, who will swap sides with Broom. Walters hasn't had the best game up front. Tempted to bring McKinnon on for him. And in Pasiarek, he's going to come on for Matty Whittaker. Looks complacent. Is always the one who doesn't get a rest in that back 4. So early on in the season, let's keep him fresh and let's keep him moving. I will show you at the end of this game in the summer what happened in the Euros, because Wales took part and there was some big news on that front. So we'll get to that in a moment too, as Loza gets the ball into McKinnon. Beats the keeper with a wonderful strike. Loza turns provider, McKinnon turns goal scorer. And off the bench he makes it 2-0. Now Maribor needs 6. I think we can start looking forward to the next round now. Well, full time, 2-0 it remains. It was a really professional and efficient performance. I'm so pleased with how it's gone. I'm so pleased with this summer. And I've got a couple more little gems to show you, because this will show just how far we've come as a club, as a nation, and in this series. It's been brilliant. So after getting through, we have drawn PAOK. We can plan our trip to Greece now. Their key player is an Englishman. So I'm 14 grand a week, worth £6 million, and he's absolutely excellent. I'm just seeing who else they've got in there. It's a full team that we've heard of. Joe Worrell with a bit more experience to that end, but they've got a lot of young players too. If we just put them in value order, I mean, they've got youngsters from Greece worth £6 million. They've got Leighton Clarkson. It's a player we know well. He's a very good footballer in England. They've got Koman, they've got Kouame, they've got experience across the board. But they've also got a lot of good Greek youngsters as well. That's going to be a difficult tie. I'm sort of looking forward to it next time. A little bit apprehensive as well. I mean, even their wage bill is largely out of our control. The only one that's earning a bit less is the left winger. But I'm sure in time he'll earn more as he proves himself. In terms of the rest of things though, let me show you what else happened over the summer. Because Wales took part in Euro 2032. Now, they didn't have the best tournament in the world, although Mark Hughes still won't leave. They're 23rd in the world rankings. But they did get to the second round, where they were beaten by Italy. In their group, they got 4 points, including a win against Belgium. You might notice a name on the team sheet, though, in that Belgium match. Tom Jones. That's our Tom Jones, who made 6 caps for Wales, including being a regular starter at Euro 2032. Now, this was the driving force behind the values going up, I feel, as it seemed to happen during this tournament. Now, it's the only thing I can attribute it to, is our players really showing what they're worth. Because against Northern Ireland, again, Tom Jones involved, this time off the bench. But if we go and have a look at Northern Ireland's squad, you might notice something else about them. Because when they played in the summer in this tournament, and they were involved in Euro 32 as well, which is a really good sign for them moving forward, there was somebody else involved in that squad. Patrick Malone, who's now made 6 caps for them. But he made 4 appearances in the European Championships, and he's still a midfielder with us. Again, dragged the value up and made him more wanted as well. But as well as that for Wales, we did have a bit more to celebrate. Harvey Lloyd was in the provisional squad, made 1 appearance in a pre-tournament friendly. As well as that, we had a 3rd addition to the squad, Matty Whitaker, in the pre-tournament squad, made 1 appearance in a pre-tournament friendly. He actually got into the final squad as well, but was a backup defender and didn't make an appearance. He scored in his game too. So we've got 3 Welsh internationals in our team now. Yes, Den Weaver I always thought would be the first. He's not had his opportunity yet, but maybe in time he will. And Kyo Bulkley, it won't be far away. What a summer it's been. What a turnaround for Welsh football. If TNS can pick up Warren Belt and get through against Debrecen as well, I'm feeling like it could be a summer of celebration in our Build a Nation save with Bangor City. We're going to be back for the second leg of the PAOK match. We might start our Welsh Premier League season, or we'll have a look around at some of the other bits too. It's been a big summer and I'm sure there's a lot more to come. But now all of our eyes are diverted to the other 3 sides. Can Barry cause a shock with that away goal? Can TNS complete the job? And can one of them get near the group stages this year? Fingers crossed for that, but we're certainly on the right path. If you're looking forward to finding out what happens this season, and you did enjoy this episode and professional display, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments if you've got any other ideas as to how it came about that our players' value increased so sharply. Is it just the mix of internationals, the league reputation increasing, which we'll look at a bit more next time? Or is it something else behind the scenes I haven't thought of? But the fact it just happened overnight that summer, I feel like that must be one of the 2 reasons. If you want to stay up to date and see what effect it has on Welsh football, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. We've got daily content from 2 long-term stories, lots more action to come from this one, and you can find our links to all the other playlists in the eye above, as well as the food channel and the Twitch channel with regular FM live streams too. A massive thank you for watching though and joining me along for another season. I can't lie, I've got a bit of a spring in my step after seeing the changes off the pitch this year. And I'm just hoping that we can take advantage on them, and maybe some of the others can as well. I'll see you next time as we continue to progress through the qualifiers, and hopefully the same can be said for at least one of our Welsh compatriots. I'll see you there.